refused to name Cody Rhodes as his greatest ever rival. But old comments from the tribal chief may explain why he holds one WWE star in higher regard. Reigns has faced some of WWE's all-time greats, including Rhodes, in a two-part WrestleMania rivalry that many consider to be among the greatest, comparable to The Rock versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. But the former undisputed WWE champion didn't mention the American Nightmare when asked to name the best opponent of his career. Hello guys, welcome to my channel. I am Elena. Have a nice day. For the latest news update, please subscribe the channel and press the bell icon. Reigns has faced some of WWE's all-time greats, including Rhodes, in a two-part WrestleMania rivalry that many consider to be among the greatest, comparable to The Rock versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. But the former undisputed WWE champion didn't mention the American Nightmare when asked to name the best opponent of his career. Roman Reigns, my life changed facing intimidating WWE star Rhodes, who named Reigns his greatest rival, isn't the only WWE star who has faced the OTC multiple times at WrestleMania. In fact, the latter squared off against the Beast, Brock Lesnar, on 3 occasions at the Show of Shows. While 2 of those matches came during his early struggles getting over as a babyface, they collided when the head of the table was at his peak as the hottest heel in the business. The 40-year-old recently spoke to ESPN to discuss WWE's game-changing deal with the broadcaster. He was asked to name the best rival of his career, Brock Lesnar. My whole career changed once I got into the ring with him. The pair first squared off in the main event of WrestleMania 31 after Reigns had won the Royal Rumble to challenge Lesnar for the WWE Championship, but neither left Levi's Stadium with the gold as Seth Rollins pulled off the heist of the century to steal the title. Reigns has previously recalled stepping into the ring with the former UFC heavyweight for the first time. He said in an interview with Pro Wrestling Sheet 5 years ago, "When you work with Brock Lesnar, when you are in the ring with Brock Lesnar, it jumps you, multiple jumps. My life changed in 2015. WrestleMania 31, it hasn't been the same." Their next WrestleMania main event arrived 3 years later at the Mercedes-Benz Superdome in New Orleans, Louisiana. It seemed for all the world that Reigns would slay the Beast, but Lesnar surprisingly retained his title. Reigns commented on the type of performer Lesnar was and alluded to John Cena's previous praise of the 10-time world champion. "A lot of love for Brock. He's a great performer." A lot of people heard the statements that John Cena made about him. I'm not sure if he was wrong. He's one of the few guys that people really believed. Even as a performer, you have to always keep your eyes on him. If you watch, when I am in the ring with him, I never take my eyes off Brock because you just never. Reigns finally defeated Lesnar at WrestleMania 38 at Anoa'i Stadium, and this win came as the tribal chief and Paul Heyman by his side. He concluded, "Reigns finally defeated Lesnar at WrestleMania 38 at Anoa'i Stadium, and this win came as the tribal chief and Paul Heyman by his side." He concluded, the pair may very well soon reignite their rivalry following Lesnar's shock return at SummerSlam last weekend. Although he'll likely first be feuding with Cena, the Beast Incarnate attacked the greatest of all time to end the 2-night PLE, at which Reigns opened night 1 with a tag team victory alongside Jey Uso over Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. A Fing superstar, Brock Lesnar saw the potential in Roman Reigns. It's not often Lesnar praises his colleagues or even sits down for an interview, but he gave an honest assessment of his longtime rival ahead of their WrestleMania 38 back in March 2022. He said, via New York Post, "I see a F-King superstar. I see a guy who came into his own and is a real threat as a person and as a character. Roman has the it factor, has had it. It's exciting to me. I get goosebumps just thinking about this match." Reigns arrived on the main roster in November 2012 as part of The Shield alongside Rollins and Dean Ambrose, now Jon Moxley in AEW. He was the powerhouse of the group, who WWE soon pushed, but perhaps too quickly, as Vince McMahon looked to find his next Cena. Fans struggled to connect with Reigns due to his character portrayal and the overly produced promos, which felt too forced. However, aligning with Heyman, who oversaw Lesnar's rise in WWE, saw his career skyrocket as he held the undisputed WWE Championship for 1,316 days and became one of the most famous wrestlers in the company's history. WWE botched CM Punk and Roman Reigns' Raw appearance, claims veteran half their audience already went to bed, Exclusive former WWE head writer during this week's episode of Brodown with host Mac Davis, Russo noted that this past Monday on Raw, WWE booked Roman Reigns and CM Punk to run in during the final minutes of the show. He pointed out that most of the audience had already stopped watching and gone to bed when the angle happened. The veteran claimed WWE needed to tease their involvement much earlier in the show to keep the fans hooked till the last segment. Vince Russo recently spoke about a glaring error with CM Punk and Roman Reigns booking on Raw. Both stars were on the red brand. This past Monday, Rollins showed up at SummerSlam and wrecked CM Punk's title reign by cashing in the Money in the Bank briefcase. The next night on Raw, he defended the title against LA Knight, but the match ended in a DQ after Punk attacked the Visionary. Reigns also showed up, but both stars were neutralized by Rollins and his henchmen, Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. Mac, did you watch Raw? They had, at the last 5 minutes of the show, after everybody else went to bed, they had Reigns and CM Punk run in. Why wouldn't you have them showing up in a cool-looking truck before you went to the last commercial break? That's what you call kayfabing yourself. They have these guys come out at the very end of the show, when I guarantee you half their audience already went to bed. All you had to do was an arrival shot. That's all you had to do. 15-16 onwards. Roman Reigns is now scheduled to appear at Clash in Paris. The event takes place on Saturday, August 31st at the Paris La Défense Arena. It will be interesting to see how WWE books these major stars in the feud against Seth Rollins. Please embed the video and credit Sportskeeda for the transcript if you use the quotes from this article. WWE News, Roman Reigns. Now scheduled for upcoming Premium Live event, you can add what appears to be 2 more appearances to Roman Reigns' upcoming WWE schedule. After earlier being announced for the August 18th episode of WWE Raw in Philadelphia, Reigns is also set for the show a week later on August 25th in Birmingham, England. On WWE's upcoming European Tour in addition, the WrestleVotes account reported that Reigns is also now planned for WWE Clash in Paris, which takes place on August 31st in France. They wrote, "We're told that decision came rather recently as Reigns wasn't involved in early creative plans, explaining his absence from the initial promotion. WWE's biggest draw is now in the fold for France, as top ticket prices for the event are currently listed at roughly $3,900 USD, $3,301.50. It's unclear what match Reigns will be involved with, but he appears to be in a storyline with Paul Heyman's stable that includes Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, and Bronson Reed, with CM Punk and LA Knight also possibly involved. WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia. WE will never be the same again if this report is true. Exclusive reports have come forward stating how the WWE Saudi Arabia partnership could potentially lead to 2 WrestleManias in a year. Is WrestleMania going to Saudi Arabia? According to exclusive reports from the Wrestling Observer newsletter via The Takedown, a potential move might be taken by WWE where the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia will be getting its own WrestleMania from 2027, thus staging the same PPV twice a year, once in the United States and the other in Saudi Arabia. The report said, "It's been well known that Saudi Arabia has been pushing for a WrestleMania for years now, and history shows that they are willing to pay a giant fee to get it. This could also turn into a Super WrestleMania situation, akin to the Greatest Royal Rumble, by having 2 WrestleManias in 2027 instead of 1. The report further emphasized another key event from the possible PPV, where the country is pushing Dwayne Johnson to headline the show. The idea of the Showcase of the Immortals being held twice a year is potentially the most controversial, involving another massive fee. The report was also shared by Cultaholic Wrestling on X, which has divided the fans where some praise the clever business strategy, while others share the old sentiments of CM Punk. Anoa'i TKO merger ditches. Fan sentiments for a cash grab. The idea of a possible 2 WrestleManias was inevitable, and it was supposed to be proposed sooner or later. After all, Paul Triple H Levesque has been making substantial changes, which at times made the WWE universe wish that Vince McMahon were still a part of WWE. This was evident when, earlier this year, the CCO announced how WrestleMania 42 would be held in Las Vegas for the 2nd time in a row. The idea was solely for profit maximization, as WrestleMania 41 was the most successful PPV, creating humongous records via WWE. Since Saudi Arabia and WWE have been in a long-term partnership, the former has been investing heavily to encourage WWE to host special live events throughout the year. Now, if the reports are true, then the recent development would potentially involve the show of shows heading to Saudi Arabia in 2027. Needless to say, this reported move comes with a revenue-multiplying opportunity that would have record-breaking numbers. Moreover, featuring the biggest WWE superstars in the PPV would be massive, as fans would be willingly paying large sums of money for the tickets to have themselves 2 nights filled with epic matches and high-flying action. How hosting 2 WrestleManias a year would ruin WWE's legacy. WWE's WrestleMania is truly one of a kind, which commenced as the result of Vince McMahon's biggest gamble. It is special and, in its righteous way, created a wrestling legacy that has redefined entertainment wrestling. What makes this PPV truly the showcase of the Immortals is the emotionally moving storylines reaching their finale, featuring wrestlers who leave the show as legends. The annual premium live event also marks the return of some wrestling icons and superstars who were once forced to part ways with the company, leading to some of the most thunderous pops, leaving the performers and the fans with goosebumps. However, the 2-night event goes beyond exciting returns, as it features some of the greatest matches that will leave you in tears. From The Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels' infamous career versus streak match to Cody Rhodes versus heel John Cena, the PPV keeps coming up with grander and bigger matches each year. Though WWE sees the 2 WrestleManias as a profit-making opportunity, giving them an edge over their rivals, it tarnishes the legacy the company has been building brick by brick for over 2 decades. Though partnerships are important for WWE, as they help them to entertain their global fan base, is it worth ruining the legacy of the greatest wrestling event that brings the world to a standstill? Let us know in the comments below. Cody Rhodes to lose the WWE title at Clash in Paris after his real-life friend betrays him? Possibility explored. Following the events that concluded last night's SmackDown, it seems clear that Cody Rhodes is set to face Drew McIntyre at WWE Clash in Paris later this month with the undisputed WWE Championship on the line. A Rhodes-McIntyre feud has been teased on WWE TV in the past and has been the logical road for quite some time, given that it was clear that Cody would be winning back the title from John Cena at SummerSlam, and that SmackDown lacks top heels to work with Rhodes as WWE champion. So, given this lack of legitimate title contenders for Rhodes, what if Drew shocks Cody at Clash in Paris and ends up being the first and final challenger in this title reign, only for it to lead to something bigger? The biggest feud we can currently get on SmackDown is by far Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton. Orton has been on the most successful run of his career as a babyface, and his popularity, in-ring, and promo work have kept him a babyface for the longest time. However, it is crystal clear, Randy Orton turning heel sometime in the future is inevitable, and so is Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes feud. And while it seems simple on the face of it, in this case, it could be so much more when the apex predator turns on the American Nightmare to kickstart a potential feud of the decade contender. There are 2, while the former may make more sense from the Viper's perspective given his quest for numbers or 15. If WWE wants to really milk this feud and stretch it over several months and with multiple phases, as they have done with CM Punk and Seth Rollins, then having the title picture held hostage by the 2 all the way till WrestleMania may not make much sense. Much like Punk Rollins, this feud could, at various points, have the title on the line or not. Orton costing Rhodes at Clash in Paris would allow the beginning of Phase 1, and either Randy Orton or Cody Rhodes could win the WWE Championship somewhere down the line to perhaps set up a title feud in time for WrestleMania. In the meantime, Drew McIntyre could once again be presented at the level he deserves, as one of the absolute top guys on the company's stacked roster. As the undisputed WWE champion, there is a lot that can potentially be done with McIntyre besides being involved with Rhodes and Orton, including possible feuds with the likes of LA Knight and Sami Zayn, who, after last night's proceedings, may be traded to SmackDown.